Hello.
Hello.
We are back.
Back at it.
Yeah, it's not really been that long. Like, it doesn't seem that long to you guys, but it's been a while since we recorded. We put out a lot of episodes in the last few weeks, and I think we have some new listeners. So if you're new and you're listening, welcome.
Welcome.
If you're listening from the beginning, welcome even more, because
Thank you for getting this far.
yeah, thank you for getting this far. We're glad to have you. Welcome to the community. Please follow us on Instagram.
I'm Amber, and this is
Ashley. Our voices do sound the same, so if you get confused, we apologize. If you're watching us on YouTube, though, you'll be able to see the difference between us. Who's who?
Yeah. So if you're getting confused, go also watch us on YouTube.
Yes.
And hit the bell. And subscribe.
Yes, all that good stuff. But yes.
Let's get into it.
So let's get into it. Let's see. Highlights from the week. We're recording in the middle of the week right now. So far, not too much has happened. Griffin has been just running around like crazy little kid. He's been just climbing on things and walking. If you follow me on Instagram, you've seen he's been walking for a while, and he is just turned 13 months a few days ago. So
woo!
He's and then Phoenix is in his season. He has his second game of the fall season for soccer on Saturday. So we are very excited about that. Hopefully they win because they lost the last one, but I'm super excited about that. It's been super fun. Soccer's expensive, but it's been fun to see him improve and get more confident and just be better at it, you know?
Yeah.
It is getting harder going to practice with Griffin, but I just keep reminding myself it's only a short period of time. It's not going to be forever.
It really is. It's so funny with this phase. All of it just seems like it's so long, and really they're adults more than they're kids.
Facts.
Landon asked me yesterday. I asked him to bring some clothes down for you, and then he's like, is this a chore? And I was like, I mean, I guess, sure. And he's like, okay. And he goes upstairs, and he's just like, Mom, will you teach me how to do the dishes, because I want to do chores so that he can get money. And I was like, I'm not giving you money to do stuff that you're supposed to do. Making your bed, doing the laundry, doing dishes, those are things you get money for. You get money for extra stuff. And he was like, oh, okay. I was like, yeah, those things are the things that are turn you into a good adult, and it's my job to turn you into a good adult.
Yeah.
And he was like, okay. He's like, so that they're gonna help me be a good kid? And I'm like, no, you're already a good kid. I just also need you to become I was like, you're gonna be an adult way longer than you're gonna be a kid. So I gotta prepare you to be a good contributing adult to society.
Yeah.
So,
and I say that all the time too. I'm like, we're raising adults. We're not raising kids.
No, we're raising adult humans. But yeah, Landon started soccer also, and he actually really loves it. It's nice to see him get a little bit tougher and there was this one kid that was just shoving people today. She literally,
hands?
Yeah, the coach literally stopped him and was like, and this kid shoved Landon a couple times. I have video. I'll share it with you later.
Oh, well, good.
This kid shoved Landon a couple times, and Landon came up to me. He's like, Mom, this kid keeps shoving me. And I was like, he kind of tackled me. And this mom next to me starts laughing, and I was like, I saw bud, you're good. Go back in there, get it.
I'd be like, Landon, that's what you do. Drop your shoulder.
Just
next time he pushes
check
you,
him.
Just give him a good 1-2 in the arm. Or what you do, he pushes you over, you hop back up, you push him harder.
The coach was like,
stop. Red card.
In the middle, the coach stopped, and she was like, okay, you cannot push people with two hands in soccer. And he was just like, oh, he was like,
you
okay.
can't.
She's like, you can't push people. You can't
red card.
That. You can't push people with two hands in soccer. That's against the rules.
Yeah, it is.
But it's funny because Landon's I feel like he's so deer-legged. So kind of feel like he falls over and so I was like, Landon, you got to be more intentional with the way you're moving across the field and stuff. So he's getting there, but it was so nice. And this literally, when I tell you the most random thing, I was just sitting there in my chair, and this man walked by, and I think I saw him last time. I don't even know if his kid plays on. I have no idea.
Yeah.
And he was he just said he kind of looks at Landon. Landon's kicking the ball back and forth to me. He's like, oh, he's really good. I was like, oh, is he?
It's so nice when other people. Because I think we've gotten to the point with Phoenix where I know he's good, but it's because I've seen other kids his age play, and so I can tell where he is skill-wise in comparison to other kids his age, which is cool. But when he first started, it was
so weird. It's just oh, I have video of that girl throwing herself in the ground, by the way, today.
I need to find a story about a story about a parent asking what do I do? My daughter just throws herself in the field and cries, and she insists on playing.
Yeah,
every week.
like everybody who's listening, obviously, I think I started this thought in the middle of something she already knows. But to fill you guys in, on Landon's soccer team, there's this little girl that like if somebody runs away with the ball or like takes the ball from her or whatever, she's playing soccer, mind you, she throws herself throws herself on the field and bursts out into tears and stuff. And so,
which is dramatic.
Oh, so dramatic. And it's even more annoying because today, apparently her mother bribed her to participate. So today she was like, she kept coming over and like, do I get a prize now? Do I get my surprise now? She's like, no, you need to actually like, she's like, well, I'm participating. And then she's like, no, go over there. And like, now I feel, because that's, what else now I feel bad a little because I'm like, she resorted to bribing her child to just like basically participate in something that she paid a lot of money for her to participate. Like, I'd be so annoyed. It'd be really hard for me to just
maybe
be like,
she should do something else.
She needs to do I mean, this
maybe
little
sports
girl
is not her gift.
Well, she needs to do something active. So maybe that's part of it.
Yeah, that is true.
So, anyways, but other than that, it's been nice seeing Landon like play soccer, and he actually really, really is getting into it. And he's getting pretty tough, and like he like gets shoved to the ground and gets up, and like I mean, he got thrown to the ground a couple times though today, like 3 or 4 times, and he was just like,
when I'm sure like when he sees Phoenix, like he's seen Phoenix. Phoenix got smacked in the eye last game. And then, I saw a football player. This is like a total tangent, but the two things connect. I saw a football player have to get taken out because he got poked in the eye.
Yeah, we were watching the game.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's like a legit injury. He got poked in the eye and he couldn't see, I guess.
So, by the way, Ashley and I are huge football fans. Well, I'm more of the huge football fan. I'm a huge Cowboys fan. So shout out to the Cowboys for whooping on the Giants. It's going to be a great start to the season.
Shout out.
I'm also the commissioner of my fantasy league at work. So hopefully I win. But if not, it's week 1's been great. Fun. It's so fun. But anyways, Micah Parsons, he started boxing over the break because he kept getting hit in the face.
Yeah.
So he's had to learn. Now he wears a shield over his eyes now also, but he said he started boxing to like learn how to protect his face. I was like, oh, that's so interesting. But yes, getting poked in the eye is definitely a thing. So
yeah, I couldn't figure out what he was like. It was like he's taking a knee. So like his injury must be the upper part of his body. Because like if they injure their knee or their hip or whatever, they lay on the ground. Yeah. But and then I kept seeing these people look at his face, and I'm like, what? And then that's when the commentators came back. They're like, he got poked in the eye. And I'm like,
could you imagine though, like these massive, like freaking man fingers?
Well, Derek told me that's what if someone tries to like take you from behind, you dig in their eyeballs.
In self-defense, not in sports.
No, but I'm saying like that's disabling. So
I got nails. Just
if someone sticks your finger,
always track.
But that said, Phoenix getting smacked in the face, like those two things like connected. I was like, I can imagine that hurt because it took him a minute to like kind of orientate himself.
Yeah.
Orient himself. Orientate.
In my head, I was thinking reorient, but that's not a word either.
Okay, I'm not sure which word it is, but that's totally fine. You guys know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
trying to get himself.
Drop it in the comments. Trying to collect
that word is collect himself.
Yes. Now that's gonna bug me. We're gonna have to Google it.
Yeah, I'm gonna. You
Google that word while I tell you about what's going on in like.
Yes, apparently
pop culture land.
We have some like relationship, motherhood drama going on. So
yeah. So if you don't pay attention,
I was right. It's orient. Bam! I know words.
Orient. So he had to orient himself?
Orient oneself.
Okay.
It says. What the heck does it say the definition is? It just keeps saying orient, order. Familiarize someone, something, or oneself with some information or situation to help someone or something adjust and become acclimated.
So reorient a word? Is reorient a word? Because he's having to get himself back to homeostasis.
Reorient.
I was right. Reorient.
To reacquaint oneself with a situation, environment, etc.
I know words. Reorient. Okay. There you go. Word of the week. That's the name of our podcast. Reorient.
Reorientate. Yeah. It's definitely not reorientate, like I was saying. I was adding way too many syllables.
Reorient.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm not gonna name the podcast, but we have a podcast that we love. It's an amazing podcast. They're great. But these fools, if they do not stop saying demasculate.
Emasculate.
Oh!
I was listening to it this week.
They said it like 5 times. I'm like, somebody correct them. It is not demasculate. It's emasculate.
Okay, but for the record, these men are lovely. Honestly, we love them so much. I feel like we want to shout them out because we love them. We listen. We're huge fans.
Yeah.
But like, their grammar's not great.
No, it's not.
They make
You obviously understood what they were saying, but I just couldn't understand why all of these college educated men sitting in a room, nobody bothered to correct the other.
That's 3 out of 4 because I think one is like doesn't have a degree. But yes, 3 out of 4 of them all went to college. And none of them know emasculate. The word emasculate. As much as they talk about men stuff, and maybe they all knew and they just didn't want to correct him.
Maybe. I'm thinking that's what
like
it is.
maybe Charles just knew but didn't want to correct him.
But you don't have to. You don't correct him. You just simply use the word in a sentence correctly.
Right. Or they could pick on him, like they pick on people about everything. Like,
bro, it's not demasculate.
It's not demasculate.
I can't just let you sit here.
I can't just say
demasculate.
demasculate.
I'm about to tear you up on YouTube.
Okay. So funny.
All right, so let's get into it.
So if you haven't been paying attention to pop culture over the last week, Joe Jonas and Sophie Turner. So
Sophie Turner, aka Sansa Stark.
Sansa Stark has, as Sansa the dog looks up at us, they are getting a divorce.
Yeah.
Which they've only been married for 4 years. They've been married for 4 years, only have 2 kids. They're both under 30. That's a lot.
Two kids in 4 years, a lot.
2 kids. They've been married for 4 years, and they're not even 30 years old. And some of course, people want to try to kind of take sides. I mean, Joe doesn't really have the best relationship reputation between Taylor Swift. I found out that
she wrote a song about Taylor Swift.
Right. Well, Taylor Swift wrote a song. Well, he wrote a song about and she wrote a song about him in return. The Mashakas, I learned that Allie and AJ had some beef with him too. So he doesn't have a great rep of like relationship being.
Joe Jonas. So this is the one that was on The Voice. That's Joe Jonas.
No, I thought Nick. No, Joe. Yeah, Joe.
Wait, or was that Nick Jonas?
No, I thought it was Joe. Look it up.
Okay, continue. I think it was Nick Jonas.
I think it was Nick that was on.
Joe Jonas is the older one,
right? And make sure I'm saying it's Joe that was married to Sophie Turner. Is it Sophie Turner or Sophie Turner?
That's Joe Jonas. He's married to Sophie Turner.
He's not married anymore.
Nick Jonas is married to Priyanka Chopra.
Yes, there you go.
Thank you.
So and Kevin is married to the actress.
Nick Jonas is the nice one. Got it.
Yes, Nick is the sweet one. Joe is like kind of the brooding bad boy one that everyone in Hollywood's dated apparently. So in my hunt to figure out what was going on, I came across the fact that one of them, Allie or AJ, has had beef with him as well, which I didn't know. But anyways, they're getting a divorce, and some of the like conversation initially with them was why are they getting divorced, obviously, and a little bit had to do with Joe making a comment that he saw something on his webcam, like their house like cameras, that he didn't feel like it showed that she was being like a good parent. Now, granted, all the stuff that you guys are going to read is going to be all third-party speculative stuff. Like, they have only come out and said, like, they came and had a group statement. Joe was on stage in LA for his tour and said, if you didn't hear it from my mouth, it's probably not true. So a lot of it's rumor. But one of the rumors was that she's not a good mom because she is 27 years old and isn't trying to have another baby. And like feels like her childhood was taken from her because she spent her whole entire childhood on an 8 to 10 year series, Game of Thrones, and then started dating Joe Jonas,
and then moved to a whole new country.
Moved to the U.S. from the UK, relocated for him, got married, been married for 4 years, popped out 2 babies. That's just exhausting. Like before you're even 30, like you haven't. She feels like she hasn't gotten to live her life yet, and I think that's part of the issue. Is Joe is. And all the Jonas brothers are this way. I think that's why Nick married Priyanka because she's so much older than him. But they all have this like, very like home like mindset. Like they're on tour right now, but this is their last tour ever. They're not touring again. For those of you who haven't seen the Jonas Brothers, this is their last tour ever. They are like kind of shutting it down and like going into like white picket fence life. Yeah. And I think I just think she wasn't wanting to do that. But question is like, I think people think that if you're a parent, mom or dad, that you just like can't have fun, can't have a life, you can't be I just think it's like an unfair thing, especially when in her situation, it's like money or is the problem. It's more time and like the space to do it and support. Like he gets to tour and go all over the world, but then she has to
just
play
has to stay
mom
home.
all the time.
Yeah. I think so. I think like one of the things interesting about this is like, and I've heard a lot of people discuss this, but like there's plenty of people who literally travel the world and just strap their kids on.
Pink.
Yeah, well, she has, but
her husband is the nanny.
Yeah, but people without pink money do this.
Oh, okay.
It's very easy to. In the documentary she did, she literally flew her daughter back to the U.S. from Paris
for camp.
That's not a normal life. I'm talking about regular people on Instagram who have like 10,000 followers who travel the world in an RV. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if they can do that and they can take their kids with them. Now, are you taking your kid to a club? No, but that's 1 night, 2 nights. You know what I'm saying? If you're going on a trip, yeah, you take family trips and then you have a girls trip or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Or you say, hey, grandparents.
Great. The implication was that like she's like partying too much and stuff, but also if you have kids, your kids aren't doing anything between the hours of 8 and freaking 2 in the morning, no, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the morning. So if you have the stamina, the ability, or the staff, like she probably does have, to be able to still go out when your kids are asleep, that doesn't mean you're not spending time with them for all the other hours of the day that they are awake.
Yeah, and there's a lot of moms, like especially like I know, like right, like she has toddlers. I'm assuming, like
because they've only been married.
3. Yeah, so that's a very like specific time in their life, but also, I'm assuming they're probably in some sort of childcare. I'm assuming they have nannies. I'm assuming they have all of this stuff. And I don't think it makes you any less of a mother because you want to go out. Now, I will say, it doesn't look super great if you're going out every single night of the week. Like, you need to put your kids down. Like, maybe she's putting her kids down for bed and then she's piecing out, but I doubt that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? She's probably like, cool, I'm going out. Here's the kids. Bedtime routine. You got it. You know what I mean? She's probably not, she may or may not be waking up in the middle of the night with them if they need, like, whatever. But we can't, but also, like, we can't know that because we're not there. So we don't know, like, what it is that, quote unquote, makes her a bad mom. But I don't think that there's anything, literally, unless she's abusing them, I don't think you can categorize her as a bad mom. Like, we don't know. There's not enough information. And also, to be fair, being a bad mom who's not doing motherhood the way you think she should is not grounds for divorce.
Right.
That's grounds for therapy.
Yeah.
I think that it's more so that she wants to go to the UK and live by her family, and he does not. That brings up a whole nother thing of like, what are they going to do with their kids? Yeah. That's not, oh, we don't want to live in LA, so we're going to move to New York. That's a whole nother country. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a whole nother, like, that's not like, oh, we can just commute back and forth on the weekends type thing to see each other. That's not how it works. No one's taking even if you have the means, no one's taking a 14-hour flight back and forth every week. Yeah. So, like, I don't know. I kind of hope they figure it out. I kind of hope they go to therapy. 4 years is not very long, like, in a marriage to, like, just, and have 2 kids to just call it quits.
For no real reason.
For no apparent reason. That's the thing, too, is, like,
it's just, like, a little bit of, like, it's kind of like, you're my girlfriend, and I just, like, we're not at the same point in your life. Bye. Like, they're breaking up like they're dating. Yeah. To me. And I feel like it's just not, I think you don't really get to see a lot of their personalities in life. Both of them are very like she's not super interesting to see in an interview, or like she's not a very like outgoing personality. Like Priyanka Chopra is very like outgoing, and so is Nick.
Priyanka Chopra comes from all the money.
Yes, deep Indian money she comes from. Yeah,
I think her family. She's a famous Bollywood actress, right?
Yes, but I mean, she's a famous U.S. actress as well. But yes,
no, well, I know that, but I'm saying like I think that's where her career started, was in Bollywood.
Yeah,
but
their wedding was
which is
crazy.
A huge thing in like, yeah. Type in hashtag Bollywood on freaking Instagram. I think it has like 1 billion freaking like, you know, it tells you like how many people have hashtagged it. It's crazy. Anyways, yeah. So I don't know. I think that people need to just chill. And like let them, like, if they want to have a private, like keep this under wraps, because it's not like the Jonas Brothers are like out there publicly with like all their stuff.
They really aren't. They're pretty quite private for the freaking Jonas Brothers.
Yeah. For the record, Taylor Swift has written 6 songs about Joe Jonas.
6 songs,
apparently. Fearless, Speak Now, Last Kiss, Better Than Revenge, Mr. Perfectly Fine, I think is the one that everybody knows right now. And
Why did I not realize she wrote almost an entire album about that man? Google how many songs there have been written about Joe Jonas.
okay, let's see.
Because there was speculation that that Ali and AJ wrote this is the breakup song, but it's not, that song wasn't about him. It's a different one.
Breakup song. Songs written / Joe Jonas. So Taylor Swift. Let's see. Better Than Revenge from Speak Now.
Okay.
I don't see Ali and AJ on here. I just see a lot of Taylor Swift and then like songs he's on. But yeah, I think that Ali and JJ wrote their hit Flattery about Joe Jonas.
There you go.
I'm about to listen to that song again and see like.
So yeah, because people were saying they thought when they recorded the breakup song if that was about him, and they're like, no, it's not, but Flattery is. That's what it was.
Demi Lovato wrote Gonna Get Caught about Joe Jonas while in the same room with him, apparently.
Okay. Yeah, again, not a lot of, he doesn't have a lot of nice songs. Oh, that's the famous person that freaking dated him. Demi. I forgot that Demi like dated him because they did the movie together. The Rock.
Miley Cyrus apparently may have written a song about him. She may have written 7 things. The 7 things I hate about you. Yeah.
Yeah, it does have a great reputation for. It's amazing that he got married.
Yeah.
He's not the best boyfriend, apparently.
Apparently, he's a player.
Yeah.
According to Demi Lovato, and interesting.
Demi Lovato, Taylor Swift, both the Mashakas.
He just took Disney and was like,
yeah,
we're gonna do everything.
But I think it's hard with Joe because he's like the chill one. So I think like people like him or like are interested in because he's like brooding and chill, and like people like want to get to know him. Like he's like the mysterious one of the Jonas Brothers, right? Mm-hmm. And apparently you get to know him, and he must not be that great of a human being. I like Nick, so that's my favorite.
Yeah. Well, you guys let us know in the comments of this video, or send us a message or whatever, and tell us what you think, because I'm very curious how this all plays out. We'll keep you guys updated though, because
honestly, I didn't even think it was real when I saw it on TMZ.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't surprise me if they figured it out, but I would hope that they would. They haven't been married long enough. They have babies, little babies. Unless there's something really dark and grimy going on in their relationship, I hope they figure it out.
Yeah. Okay, so I have a Reddit story for you.
I'm ready.
So the one that I'm going to read, and I'm just going to pick it because last time I let you pick based on the title, but I'm just going to pick it. This one, because I just have to know. To be fair, I haven't read this story yet, so I'm assuming it's going to be good. It has 127 comments, and it doesn't have that many upvotes, but it's only from 1 day ago. So,
okay. And it's the Am I the Asshole?
Yeah. Okay. So, okay, actually I'm going to give you 2 because there's another story on here that has a lot of upvotes, but it's from longer ago.
Okay.
It is, so the first one is, it's from r/parenting. So it's not from Am I the Asshole? But the title is, My Wife Lets Our Son Open and Explore Neighbors' Garbage Bins. Am I wrong for saying no? And the other one is, my 32 female guy friend, 32 male, refuses to date women over 30 because he wants to have kids. There's a few on here that are pretty freaking...
I feel like I want to know about the trash can one.
I do too.
Because, I can kind of figure out that, like...
That one has 4.6. So the one about the dating one, which I'm assuming a lot of people chimed in on, has like 4,000 upvotes. And then there's another one in here about this, whether or not this husband not thinking his wife only likes 2 of his kids. That's on
It's kinda
that's
funny.
on r/relationship advice. So
It's kind of funny.
yeah,
I know it gets okay, let's see. I feel like I'm super curious about why this woman thinks that it's okay for their kids to dig in the trash.
I feel it's very similar to the one where it was like where the stale food one we read.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna dive into this one.
Okay. Shoot.
Okay.
I'm ready.
So this is on r/parenting. It was posted 1 day ago. My wife lets our son open and explore neighbors' garbage bins. Am I wrong for saying no? So this
First of all, if you didn't know, it's against the law to go through other people's trash. So, yes, you can just be going through. Yes, it's against the law to go through someone's trash.
okay, this one is this person's asking for advice, so it's not an am I the asshole. Our kids, 7, who has ADHD and ASD, special interests. So they have adult attention hyperactive disorder. I forget how that acronym goes. Attention deficit hyperactive disorder
ADHD.
is ADHD, and then ASD is
Asperger's.
It's Asperger's, but what do they call it now? Autism spectrum disorder. Okay, so special interest are kids. He says kids. I wonder how many kids they have. It just says 7 ADHD, ASD, so I think he has 1.
Okay.
Has special interest in trash and recycling bins and dumpsters. He can explore and play with our bins as we keep them as clean as we can. He even has started helping take out the trash and recycling for us.
Apparently, it's legal in California to dumpster dive.
Oh.
But it's not legal in all states.
Oh. People could just
it's technically legal in all 50 states.
But
it's technically legal, but I guess it must be like illegal in certain counties, areas, certain stipulations like of where you can.
People can just dig in your
trash. Because I don't think it's legal to go through like. We're going off on the tangent. I think if you were to throw something away and like the police came by and like dug through your trash and found like that's legal. But I don't know that it's legal to go through trash like when like clothing stores, retail stores get rid of stuff. I don't know if it's legal to take what's out of it because you know how sometimes they get rid of stuff that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's legal to take that stuff out of the trash.
Or like I don't know.
Anyways.
Okay, so the story says our kid, 7, ADHD, ASD, special interest is trash. If you don't know, a lot of kids with ASD have a special interest, which is that thing that they are fascinated with.
Right.
So our siblings, who both have spectrum disorders, both really get targeted on like art and drawing and all that stuff as little ones. So his special interest apparently is trash and recycling bins and dumpsters. He can explore and play with our bins as we keep them as clean as we can. He even has started, 7.
Okay.
He even has started helping take out the trash and recycling for us. This is a good thing. We support. We have healthy outlets. He sorts all our stuff at home and has endless toys replicating trash and recycling. We go on trash walks with gloves and grabbers, but at times she won't stop him from grabbing trash off the ground without gloves. Getting him to wash his hands is a struggle. He is resistant. To be clear, he does not rummage or go all the way inside the bins. She will let him open people's trash lids to see what's inside. He likes to push down whatever is hanging out, bags or boxes or trash hanging over the side. His body is rubbing against the sides of bins, and his chin is right along the edge. Ooh. His mouth is right there. Gross. His hands are all over the edges of the bins. He will touch nasty dumpsters too, covered in crap. Not a problem to her. There's a group home across the street that has been closed down for mismanagement multiple times, and I know for a fact members of the home have MRSA, a bloodborne disease that can live on surfaces for months. What in the heck? A different neighbor has told her not to let him touch their bins.
Why do they live down the street?
I have no idea where they live.
Group
told her not to let him touch their bins and trash, and my wife was appalled they would question her parenting. So
the neighbors are questioning
the neighbors too. A different neighbor told her not to let him touch their bins and trash. So other people next door are like, keep him out of our trash.
Yeah.
I know for a fact they have rats. Her neighbor has rats.
Man, where do they live? Good gracious.
I am at my wit's end. There is this power dynamic. I'm constantly the bad guy. for putting up strong boundaries around these things. She is more wishy-washy with boundaries and is putting a strain on my relationship with both of them. Am I overreacting here? Is there something I can be doing? I feel disrespected because she knows how I feel about this. When I ask him not to do these things, he just says, I'm going to do it with mama. I'm so exhausted by this dynamic, and my wife knows it. Advice.
Move.
Move somewhere where there's cleaner trash cans.
So the first thing you need to do is move. Where you're not across the street from a group home with
Well, maybe they
blood-borne
can't afford
disorder.
it. I mean, to be fair, there's got to be somewhere just a little bit nicer that they could live.
Like more sanitary.
The neighbors have rats, and there's people with a blood-borne illness across the street.
Maybe they live in somewhere like New York or something.
Yeah,
because she didn't say they lived in a house, right? But
They didn't
if he's getting to the neighbor's trash, I'm assuming like
they live in a house.
they live in a
You can't
house,
just dig
or
in,
like
apartments don't have trash cans just outside.
unless they have valet trash.
But he's going through trash cans. Valet trash just has the bags outside. You
Oh,
don't put them
yeah. You're right. My thought first is that I hope that they find a way to move somewhere that's they don't have
Cleaner.
rats next door and some like unsanitary group home across the street. That's the
Yeah.
first thing. The second thing I think is just really hard. I think he needs to give his wife grace because dealing with somebody that has
special needs thing.
any kind of special needs of any kind, especially a spectrum disorder, it's hard to find whatever the balance is between discipline, understanding, and like where you can meet them at. Like it's when you're dealing with kids that are like in the middle, they're not swaying one direction or the other on the spectrum. They fall more in the center. You feel like you can push them because you're not concerned about their behavior.
Yeah.
Like with Landon, like I feel like I can push him because I don't think I'm getting pushed back like cognitively or behaviorally from him.
Yeah, because it's where he is like
developmentally he's
Right.
at that place.
Yeah.
But I think if you have a kid that isn't at that place, it's really hard. Like I think for her sometimes it may just feel like I'm just gonna let him do it because it's just I'm just gonna let him do it, and because I don't want to deal with the tantrum or like the yelling or hitting.
Especially if they're in trash cans outside, then they're like in public and stuff, and she probably just doesn't want to like deal with that part. Yeah, I feel like that's the same advice I would say. It's like it's obviously hard to regulate children in general based on like what we know is the like quote unquote normal standard of development, right? But even as parents, like you and I, we even hold higher standards than what would be considered the normal base.
Oh yeah,
right.
We were just talking about that with like Landon's learning how to write his letters, and I literally make him do it over and over again
until he writes well.
He writes it well, so it's clear that if a stranger walked by and looked at his paper, they would be able to read his name. Like,
right.
And same with soccer. Like I have like boundaries and hard lines that I lay out for him in soccer, but again, that's because I like sometimes I'm like concerned that I'm like, am I pushing too hard? Am I pushing too hard? Pushing too hard? But then I'm like, well, I know kids that can read 50 words at 5 and can like do all kinds of stuff. Like why? I feel like I'm doing him a disservice thinking that he could not excel just as much as any other kid.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, so.
And I think specifically with ASD, like it is a spectrum disorder, so we don't know which side of the spectrum. But I would say it's probably on the higher functioning side. If he's like talking about recycling and trash cans and he's fascinated by that, and I'm sure a lot of environmental stuff comes into play. I think that they could very easily explain to him, hey buddy, we're not going to touch these trash cans because they're dirty and you can get sick.
You still have to discipline. I think that's the hard part too.
Yeah.
It's fine.
But you have to set those boundaries before we go outside. You can't try to do it in the moment, especially with kids with ASD. From what we know growing up, they don't do good with change.
Right.
So you have to you even more so have to set like an expectation. And I think if she was to do that, then that would be a lot easier for her. But I think the issue is like they need therapy for one. Her and her husband, the wife and the husband need to sit down and talk about this with a moderator or a mediator and say like, listen, like he can really get sick from this. Why are you just refusing to create this boundary with me?
I think she thinks it's easier. I think that's really genuinely where it's coming from with her. I think they need to sit down with some sort of professional between the two of them, and then somebody to help guide them with how to um like teach him and encourage him, the son, because eventually he's gonna have to be a functioning member of society, and he can't be a functioning member of society going through people's trash on a daily basis. And maybe that'll turn into something super cool, and like you can encourage his interests in ways that are healthy, but um I think it's really props to her for putting on gloves and walking around the neighborhood and letting her son go through trash, because I'd be like, yeah, we're never doing that.
Yeah.
Your interest for trash is going to be confined to the trash in the home, and you can help sort the like, because he was going, he's like, he helps us sort the recycling, he helps us like sort boxes and all that stuff. I'm like, that's great. Like, I feel like that's doing the most already.
Right.
So then to also like include other people's stuff, like that's other people's personal stuff. You don't want your neighbors to complain. You don't want all this
What if there's
extra.
what there's
Especially
all kinds of
nowadays,
glass,
too.
needles, blood, like
COVID.
everything. Yeah, everything.
Like, there's all kinds of things that he can get into. But what were some of the comments that people had?
Okay, yeah, I'm just looking at the comments right now. One person just says, "Yeah, you're not wrong. This is seriously dangerous." That was the very first. That's the very first comment on here. Um, the OP says, "I feel like I'm being gaslit over it," which, yeah. And if I tell her this is why I feel hypervigilant, um, all the time, she shuts the conversation down because I'm not communicating respectfully. I'm frustrated all the time, and I have to take space all the time. This is not fair to me, but I worry for my son. Someone else, so that was what OP said. Somebody responds to that, says it's not safe or appropriate to dig through unknown trash is all that needs to be said. Facts. That said, call your local dump or waste management department and see if they would be willing to give him a tour. That's really good idea.
Oh, that's such a good, I like that one. That's a good idea.
Oh, that's a great idea. He would probably love that. Somebody who responds basically says like, yeah, they probably would do that. Somebody says or schedule a doctor's appointment for him and take her and him, tell the doctor in front of her all the things you've said here, and ask her professional medical advice to whether we would ever allow such risky potential CPS worthy neglect behavior in his own children. I feel like it's a bit dramatic to say it's CPS worthy. It's not like she's walking around letting him lick trash cans, but it is by his face. He doesn't wash his hands. Okay, I get it. But we're also dealing with kids with special needs, and throwing out CPS for kids with special needs, I feel like is very triggering for me.
Yeah.
So, no, you need to go to a doctor that understands what you're dealing with, and they should come with a level of grace that's like, okay, listen, obviously, like your kid has a special interest that's unique to him. Okay, great. Let's figure out how we can set boundaries and make this more safe for everybody. Do I think that she's going to listen to a pediatrician? I'm going to be honest.
No,
I don't always listen to pediatricians.
That's why I think it's a therapist. Because honestly, I barely listen. Like, pediatricians come with like what they think is like the right science or whatever, and it moves. It's like obviously always a moving target. So
yeah,
it's hard to trust them on that. But I think a therapist too, because also you have the confidentiality of a therapist, so you don't necessarily like have to worry
about mandatory reporting for something like that. Maybe. I mean, they do have mandatory reporting, but like he's not technically in any danger.
Right.
Yeah. Let's see. So somebody sent her an article and said basically something about handling random trash is dangerous. This person says, sounds like you guys have a bigger communication problem. That's basically what we were saying. Maybe try writing out a text message about it and have a trusted friend review it for tone. Maybe she will hear it better that way because it will be 100% sure to be communicated respectfully. That's a smart thing. He responds, it's trash day. I can't even. I sent a text asking her why she thinks it's okay. Guess we shall see. I offered suggestions as well, like him helping at school. So yeah. So then somebody else tries to go on and say like, try to figure out ways to communicate. Try not to be like hostile. Try to be like, nicer, because I guess that's the thing, is that it's triggering for her.
No, I do. I do really think it's triggering with her because I mean she's got a 7-year-old with autism. Well, autism spectrum disorder.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's exhausting and it takes a lot of patience and it takes a lot of understanding. And I think she's really trying to do the best she can, and she's found this solution that is easier to give more than to set the boundary, because when you try to set the boundary, it can turn into like, depending on how he deals with like his stresses and stuff, you know, there's so many different there's so many different levels of it, so it's kind of hard. But um if he has like strong reactions and temper tantrums and stuff like that, she just maybe just like, I just fine, what sure, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
Which is not a great place to be, but I think that is where the therapy is going to come in, and that's where the grace for him is going to come in, is like, maybe think past this, because it's not this situation to me is definitely not face value. It's not that she just so doesn't give a crap about her kid that she's going to let him dig through trash. It goes deeper than just this situation. I think he's looking at it to face value, like, this is insane, why did my wife ever let our kid go through the trash? And it's not about the trash. I think it's about her relationship and her mental stress and her ability to deal with and process.
So this person's okay. So somebody comes on here. Oh, I hit the microphone. Somebody comes on here and says, my child is on the spectrum, so this person has a couple of comments. So I completely understand the extra layer of difficulty in dealing with tricky/unwanted behaviors. Going through neighbor's trash would be a non-negotiable due to the health risk. Has your neighbor said anything? If someone went through my trash, I'd be livid. It's an invasion of privacy and socially inappropriate. So this person goes on to say, like, yeah, basically, like, I get it. Yes, our neighbors have said something. My wife doesn't care, blah, blah, blah. So then the same person responds to OP and says, okay, so just a thought. Does your wife let him because she can't handle the tantrums?
Yep. There you go.
If she doesn't, or perhaps because it makes her feel like a better parent to see him happily sifting through trash. If a neighbor has spoken up and she's still letting him, then there is definitely something wrong in her end that also needs to be addressed. I'm really sorry you're going through this. I hope you guys can get the help you need. So, yeah,
bravo.
There's so many comments here, like from just today and yesterday, of people responding. I'm interested to see like how this post like progresses, and like if they post like an update about like, hey, we did communicate and finally it's gotten better or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was an interesting one. That was really interesting. So I guess it's kind of like goes on with our whole like kind of theme today of like
good mom
versus bad moms. And I think that like it's really easy to like with kids who are like, you have to sacrifice, and to be a good mom you have to put your kids before you and everything, and that's not true. Your happiness matters in this, it matters, but I think in the situation with so with Sophie Turner, what am I saying?
Turner.
Sophie Turner, and Joe Jonas, that's more of just them having to figure out being young, like her trying to figure out the balance between like motherhood and like, and I don't think that that's a like a famous rich person thing. I think that's just a young mom thing,
right?
Like if you start having kids in your early 20s, by the time you get to 40, you're like, I blinked and I'm 40. Now what?
Right, exactly. And I think she's just not wanting to get there.
Yeah.
And I think Joe's been a star his whole life, but I think because of his family, and he was raised around his family, his like brothers, like they were able to kind of still live
a normalish life.
And I think because of Sophie's like stringent like schedule that she was on, because the Jonas Brothers were like, we're gonna do a tour, we're not gonna do a tour, we're gonna do a concert, we're not gonna do a concert.
Yeah.
Like they just had the more of a freedom because of the way their career is being
especially
musicians.
Once the show stopped.
Yeah, they're musicians, so it's kind of like we can kind of set our schedule whatever we want it to be. For her, she was on a set schedule, and they were shooting crazy hours overnight and all this.
Internationally.
Right. So yeah, I mean, I think they just need to like kind of sit down, and apparently they did sit down and talk and give a whatever like a statement. But I think it's both situations. Like it's not an am on the asshole. It's what is it? Parent versus.
It's r/parenting.
r/parenting Reddit. Okay, yeah, Reddit. That is another like that situation is just like parents is she's trying to do her best. He's trying to do his best.
And they're under high pressure.
High pressure. Both situations, high pressure.
Yeah. Dealing
relationship.
With a kid with ADHD and ASD is like very high energy kid, very stressful.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it's grace across the board, obviously, but
I think the last one, they just need to get to a therapist that specializes in parenting kids with special needs. Talk it out, figure out a way that they can both come to a compromise. And she needs to like relinquish a little bit of what might be the stress of like parenting a kid with special needs is very stressful, you know?
It is.
So, anyways,
good one, Twin.
Good episode. We have a school day to prepare for.
Yeah.
We have work to prepare for. I got laundry to do. We got all kinds of stuff to do. So, anyways, that said, we will talk to you guys later. Thank you so much for listening. We love you guys. Thank you for the support. You can find us at A Dreamer's Heart,
Twinly,
on Instagram, and Derek and I also started a popcorn shop. We'll put that Instagram is in the show notes as well. Spicer's Popcorn, if you're local, we're doing local popcorn right now. So if you listen to us and you happen to live by us, place an order. We're doing a fun pumpkin spice flavor for the fall. So I'm super excited about that. But yeah, that's it. Talk to you guys later.
Oh, follow us on Twin Life Podcast on all things.
Yes. We've been putting some fun content on that.
Yeah, we really have. Our Instagram's been popping recently.
Yeah,
it's so much nicer when we're like in the same like house, city, state.
Yeah, we have our trip to Great Wolf Lodge on there. We just did a workout together. We have like all kinds of stuff on there. So yeah, go follow us on there and subscribe to the YouTube, all that good stuff. We'll put it all in the show notes. All that stuff will be there. Anything else?
No.
All right. Bye.